And then I was also sitting here looking through TeachersConnect to see what is going on there. Good morning. Here's my outfit today. Today I am wearing some leggings from J. Crew Factory, and then I'm wearing this top that I've also worn as a dress. This is from Old Navy, and because it's a little bit colder, I'm wearing a black t-shirt underneath that is just from Target. These are my new black boots and Riley that I showed you last week from Nordstrom, and this black Marc Jacobs watch, my black frames, and that is it. So I will talk to you guys later on. I have no words for this day. It's 3:42 and I'm leaving. A, because I'm meeting up with Liza for happy hour, and then we are going to see a high school play of one of her former students that we both enjoyed a few years ago. But B, even if I wasn't doing that, I would be leaving because this day, I could have done without it. So, excuse me, it is raining. Excuse me, it is raining, and it has been raining, you know, pretty hard for the past maybe hour or so. And if you live in Southern California and you've only lived in Southern California, when it rains, everybody is just out of sorts. They don't know what to do with themselves. And then especially with kids, they feel like rain means we all need to yell and scream and run and be crazy and just do things that make no real logical sense. So that was the kind of day that I had today. I had a moment where I really just told myself, you know what, LaTanya? Right now, you're just a glorified babysitter, because I just wasn't able to get things done. Just the kids are like off the chain. Probably because we're close to having a vacation, we're all tired. Plus, it's raining. And like I said, the raining makes the kids think all sense of just reason should just be thrown out the window. So I have left school. I am not bringing my work bag with me because there's no point. And I stopped by Jenny's room also to tell her I was leaving right away, because it's not really typical for me to leave so soon. And she was having the exact same day, and she was well on her way out the door as well. So it's great that this was the day that Liza and I planned to have happy hour, because I know that I need it. She said that she needs it. It'll be nice just to have a good little meal, some laughs, and then go enjoy a play from one of her former students. So I didn't even show you the book that I read today. Maybe I'll show it to you tomorrow if I can remember, but it was a really cute book. Today we studied Canada. I didn't have any books that were specific to Canada. And now that I think about it, hopefully my windshield wipers are not making that same noise that they made in my last vlog. If they are, I apologize. I need to handle that situation. But I didn't have a book about Canada. But on the fact sheet that we shared as a class, it did mention that they like to decorate a Christmas tree in Canada, which is very similar to here, obviously, in the United States and in a lot of different countries. So I did have a book called, what is the name of that book? I think it's called like A Wish to Be a Christmas Tree. And I will show it to you tomorrow, because I've had this book for years. And I don't remember the last time I read it. It's been years since I've read it, if I've ever even read it. I'm not even certain that I've read it before. But I've definitely seen it, because I take it out every December. And when I was getting ready to start it, I just happened to look at the cover. And for the first time, I noticed that on the cover, the tree was made to look like a person. And I just thought that is crazy that I've looked at this book year after year and I'm just now realizing it. But it was a cute book. It's about this tree out in the forest whose lifelong wish is to be a Christmas tree, and he's just never been picked, and he just feels like he's watched his friends and family been picked, but never him, and he's just really sad about it. And now he feels like his time is up. His time has come and gone because now he's just too tall, because he's like the tallest tree out there. And so his forest friends notice that he's sad, and he kind of explains the situation. And then throughout the course of some pages, these different animals come up to him and say, you shouldn't be sad because we need you. You do all these great things for us. You provide us shelter. You know, you provide the things that we need, and we love you. So the little animals in the forest get together and decide they need to do something nice to cheer up the tree. So, and to show the tree they appreciate him or her. I think it's a him, but you know. And so they decide to decorate the tree. And by the end, the tree ends up looking like a Christmas tree. And at the end of the story, you know, he realizes that A, he is getting his chance to be a Christmas tree, and B, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to be picked by a family. Like, his life can be good without having that happen because he has all these great friends in the forest. I just thought it was a sweet story, and I really don't think I've read that before because I have no recollection of that story. So we read that, and then we did the fact sheet on Canada, and then they worked on the lap book page for Canada. And while they did that, I played some Canadian folk songs in the background, and it all felt very festive. And it was the perfect thing to do because, like I said, I really, by the time we got to that portion of the day, like, I was already spent. Like, I was already just over the day and just needed like a moment to myself. So it's pretty independent for them to do because they're just picking information from the fact sheet that they want to include in their lap book, so they don't need a whole lot of help. I allowed them to use their Chromebooks to look up images of some things, especially like the food, because there's some food items that are mentioned that they have no idea what it is or what it looks like. So I told them they can look on Google to find images so that they can draw a picture. And then that was it. And then the day ended, the rain started coming down even harder, and I was just glad the day was done. So I think the plan is right now is Liza and I are going to be going to the Yard House at the mall. I also want to return those two tops to Ann Taylor Loft. I didn't even try them on again because the lacy one, I'm still like, I think it could be cute, but I just have to tell myself the fact of the matter that I'm saying it could be cute, and I'm having to think about the efforts I would put in to make it cute, mean that I don't need to keep that top. Like, if I don't just love it off the bat, I probably shouldn't have it. And then the top that had the little like polka dotted sleeves, that it really is just not my style. It looked good online, but then when I looked at it in person, I felt very much more mature than what I think I am right now. So those are going back because the Yard House is at the mall and Ann Taylor Loft is also at the mall. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. So I'm heading to Liza's house. We're going to drive together. My only stress for the day is that I need to figure out what I'm going to do to get home to let Genesis and Riley out, because I don't want them to be confined in their little area for that long. Because the play, I think, starts at 6:15. And they've been back there since like 7:30ish today. So, yeah. Aside from that, nothing else happened today. I went to Orange Theory this morning. Forced myself to do that so I can indulge in happy hour a little bit more. Woke up, went to school, taught, had a rough day, and now I'm going happy hour. So I'm sure I'll check in when I'm with Liza so that you guys can see her, because I know a lot of you probably miss her and would like to see her. And so we'll see what we can do. But we shall go from there. We're going to re-say what we just said because I thought I was filming a minute ago, but I wasn't.
A sophomore in high school.
My former student right there laughed at me because I wasn't filming
She
while I
said,
was talking.
it's not filming.
Yeah. So we're at my old high school that shall remain nameless.
Oh, right.
You know, for privacy. But we're here to see a play that her former student that she had in 5th, who is now a 10th grader, is in. That's her mom there. She's gonna cry.
2 seconds away from tears. I am.
But Liza and I, between happy hour, stopping to buy flowers, and here, have seen about 4 or 5 of our old students. I've seen 2.
Yes.
You've seen about 3 or 4. I just realized another one of my old students is in the play, so
We're excited.
we're excited.
It's gonna be good.
Go Celine. Hello everyone, it's Friday at about 4:30. I vlogged yesterday, but I did not get Vlogmas uploaded because I ended up getting home much later than what I thought. So I did go out with Liza. We went to happy hour, went and saw one of our former students at her play. I did take a little video clip of that, and hopefully you've seen that by now, depending on how the editing goes. And we got home much later than I thought. I didn't get home till after 10 o'clock, probably close to 10:30, and then I had to promptly shower and go to bed, so I did not get anything edited or uploaded. But I am here. It is Friday, and I just want to quickly rehash the last couple of days. The first thing I'm going to do, since I'm standing right next to them, is I'm going to show you the 2 books that I've read over the past 2 days. The first one I'm going to show you is the one that I mentioned yesterday about the Christmas tree that I liked, and here it is. It's called A Wish to Be a Christmas Tree by Colleen Monroe. And you see that little face that looks so obvious to me now? I just realized that face was there yesterday, and like I said, I've had this book for years. And then today I read this one. This is also one of my favorites that I didn't discover until last year. I don't even remember when I bought it. I may have gotten this through like a Scholastic book order, because I do remember, one year I felt like I didn't have enough holiday books, and this was one that I got. But this is by Patricia Polacco, and it's this really cute story about Santa, but it has like a twist. Like the kids don't know that that's what it's about until the near end. And when I finished reading that one, I heard someone say, I love that story. So I would highly recommend those 2. Again, those aren't tied to any culture in particular, but we are still talking about, or we were still working on, Canada, and Canada has Christmas tree traditions as well as Santa Claus traditions, so those worked out well. And the kids are enjoying the holidays around the world. One of the things that I wanted to vlog about yesterday, but I didn't have the time, I feel like I want to put you guys on the other side of my desk. All right, sorry about that. I wanted you guys to be on this side because I feel like the lighting for me is better over here. So one of the things that I wanted to share for those of you that just think that I have it together and this classroom is running just like a well-oiled machine all the time, is I pulled a guided reading group yesterday. And I'm trying to challenge myself in terms of, I want to read chapter books with my guided reading groups every once in a while, as long as they're on level. So I have one group who's at a level P, which is pretty much grade level. And so I chose the book No Talking by Andrew Clements. And it already had a bit of a bumpy start because I had created this group and then dismantled that group because I shifted kids around. We weren't too far in the book, so it wasn't a huge deal. But when I rearranged the groups, there were a few kids that were left over from the original No Talking group is what I called them, and then there were 3 kids that were new to it. So when we met the first time, I explained to the new kids that were joining the group that we were going to give them some days to get caught up, and that the kids that were already in the group didn't have any new reading because we had to get to a point where everyone was on the same page. So they were supposed to be prepared as of yesterday. So I pulled the group to the back, and 2 out of the 3 kids that were new members of that group had not finished their reading, which was very disappointing, which then meant that they could not participate in the discussion. And then, so I chose to send them off, have them finish, and just had to let go of the idea that they wouldn't be a part of that particular meeting session. And so I attempted to talk about our reading with the kids remaining, and it was some very light stuff. Like I was just kind of asking them to tell me what happened in some chapters, and it was like pulling teeth. Like it was so painful and so discouraging. They couldn't remember. I'm pretty sure they read. Like, it's not even that I think that they didn't read it. They couldn't really remember. And then when I, you know, told them, okay, it's fine if you don't remember exactly everything that happened. You are more than welcome to go back and look in your book, because that's a good strategy. Taught them that you're going to be, you know, skimming the pages, not rereading them. And even then, they were looking at me and I was looking at them. And then it was just really painful and awkward. And I had to have like a moment where I just basically said, guys, like, I really want to read this book for you, but if this book is too hard, if this is too hard, you know, maybe you need to let me know, and we need to maybe rethink whether or not we can do a chapter book. They said it wasn't too hard, and I said, okay, we're going to meet again on this particular day. This time around, we got to come ready to be prepared, because we can't like spend our time like this. So my goal right now is, if that happens again when we meet, then maybe it's just too much for them. So I had texted the person that acts as like our literacy coach and just told her that I had just gone through the most painful guided reading lesson I had ever experienced. And she asked if there was anything she could do to help. And I said, I don't know if there's anything she could do to help right now, because I'm still at the stage of, I don't know if it was that painful, because it was kind of a new experience for them, in terms of like sitting down and discussing in a small group setting a chapter book, excuse me, versus a picture book, which is what I've normally done. Or it just was a fact of like, these aren't necessarily, well, I can't even say that. I was gonna say maybe these aren't kids that are good at that kind of like interaction, but they have to be. Like, that's the whole purpose of guided reading. Or maybe the book was too hard. I don't know. All I know is it was painful. So that happened yesterday. So we'll see what happens when I pull them again next week. Still, my struggle with guided reading is, you know, if I'm a good teacher, the kids that are not with me, or even the kids that are with me, there's gonna be some portion of time where we're doing word work. And I just am not very strong with that, especially when kids are reading on grade level. I don't have all these tools and resources in this bucket of activities for them to do, so that is a constant struggle for me. I'm gonna try and figure something out. I don't have any answers right now. So there was that, and I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell you. We went to the play last night. That happened. I shared my books. Maybe that was it. Aside from that, today was, you know, typical Friday. They got to finish up with Canada, and we did math rotations. I did find out today, at the end of the day, that there's a little white collar crime going on in my classroom. We have some kids that have been logging into the classmates' accounts on Freckle and like playing games as them, or spending their coins. I'm not 100% sure what that means, and so I had to talk to the class, because that's just not good. I told them, like, you know, that's just not something you should ever be doing. But that was pretty much it. Oh, the sad news of the day is I have to take these snowflake lights back, because I don't know if you can see, but two of the lights, this one right here and where is it? This one right there, are not shining. They're not flashing. So I have to take those back. I just got those about a week ago. So I'm gonna do that, but I am getting ready to leave. I'm getting ready to go to make some returns. That's one of them. I'm also going to get a manicure, because these nails need to be redone, and I'm very excited to do that. I don't know if you could see this, but I don't know. See that? Yep, that's lifting up there, and that's lifting right there. I've pretty much not had use of these two fingers, because I'm afraid that that's gonna pop off. These are not fake nails, it's a really thick gel polish. So that's at 6 o'clock. I'm thinking about doing like a winter white type thing, and I need to do that, make some returns, and just enjoy a quiet Friday night. So I will check in with you when I get home, because I will share some TeachersConnect questions on this particular vlog. But yeah, sorry I didn't get to upload yesterday. I was busy all day, I was tired, and I was not gonna be editing video at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So let me get myself together, go run these errands, and I will probably check in with you when I get home after my manicure and all of the returns that I need to make. So I will talk to you then. Well, hello guys, I'm home. I've been home for a while. It is about 8:30. I went and got my manicure. I decided to go with white. And I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if it'll focus. Will it focus? There we go. But there's like some sparkle in it, which is exactly kind of what I was looking for. So when I went, I had my manicurist. That makes me sound really fancy. But I do have the same lady do my manicure. I told her that I want it white, just for like winter, and she's like, oh, I have the perfect thing. So she kind of mixed some things together and created that. So I feel refreshed and ready to go. So I just got home. I got home about an hour ago, and I have been figuring out what I'm gonna eat for dinner. I officially decided to DoorDash some P.F. Chang's. I'm gonna try some noodles that I've never tried before. And then I was also sitting here looking through TeachersConnect to see what is going on there. So I answered 2 questions again this week. So I'm gonna share them with you, and then I'm gonna end this vlog because I am sleepy. I even had a Starbucks while I was getting my manicure to try and wake me up, because I would like to, in a perfect world, edit this vlog. And right now, because I'm so sleepy, I'm not even sure that's gonna happen. So we'll see. So I'm gonna answer these 2 questions, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. So the first question that I answered is from someone named Rachel. And it says, how many years of teaching experience do you typically need before moving into a different role in education? For example, a content support teacher, working in the central office, etc. My long-term goal is to move out of classroom teaching and perhaps design curriculum or coordinate PD sessions for other teachers. And I am wondering what the quote-unquote norm is for the appropriate years of classroom experience. So a couple of people mentioned that they would like to see a person have like at minimum 10 years experience before doing something like that, which I get. So I said to her, I don't know that there's a magic number in years, but I will agree with the comments above that the more experience you get under your belt, the better. So I'm not gonna read everything I said verbatim, because if you wanna see my full response, you should log on to TeachersConnect and read it. But the gist of what I'm saying is, I know for sure when I go to a professional development, if I somehow know that that person taught for maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years, and they're giving me tips on what I should be doing in my classroom, and I've been teaching for a longer period of time than that. And even if I haven't, even if I were a newer teacher, I still think I would feel this way. If they're leading this professional development and have, you know, a relatively small amount of teaching experience, I am gonna kind of look at them sideways a little bit. Like, you know, did you really spend enough time in the classroom to really understand like all the pressures, all the things that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis? And it takes a person a while to be in the classroom to really get it. So I agree that it should be a significant period of time if you want buy-in from the people that you are leading, because I know I've been to some professional developments and they're just talking a lot of theory, but not a lot of reality. And then the other thing that I said, and hopefully she takes it the right way, is I think sometimes we need to make sure to caution against like setting goals that are so specific that instead of focusing on enhancing yourself as a teacher or improving your craft as a teacher, you're really more focused on just doing what you need to do to get out of the classroom because you're trying to get to this point by this particular time. Because I think if you're too focused on that, then you're not going to focus on the things that you really need to focus on to make yourself an effective professional development person or curriculum developer or administrator. So I have just learned, pardon me, I have learned in my experience, because I'm definitely a goal setter. Like I definitely am someone that's going to say, well, down the line, I'd like to be here. I have learned that if you can find a way to set goals like that for yourself, definitely have a long-term goal that you're working towards, but at the same time, let things just kind of happen organically, you will probably end up where you should be. So I feel like for me, I thought, you know, down the line at some point, if someone were to ask me when, I would never be able to say in this many years I want to go into an administration. But I thought down the line, that's somewhere I was going to be headed. But because I was a little bit more free-flowing with when that happened, it allowed me to just take my time, gather some experience, volunteer for committees, do things that I thought would ultimately be good resume builders going towards that, to then see in that process that maybe school administration is not what I'm looking to do, and maybe I'm looking into doing things like academic advising or something else. And because I wasn't in a rush, I just kind of took the freedom to gather as many experiences as I can, and through that met a lot of people, and a lot of people have gotten to know me as a teacher, and you know, what my strengths and, you know, quite honestly, what my weaknesses are. And so wherever I head after the classroom, I do feel better prepared, and I feel like I would be going into that with a better sense of who I am as a teacher, what I really value, what I really want to do in the big picture of education. So I always get a little iffy, like when people say, you know, I'm gonna teach and within 5 years I wanna be a school administrator. Like, for some reason that really makes me feel a certain kind of way, because it makes me feel like you're not really invested and focused on the teaching part of building yourself as a professional. You're just focused on like the title that you're trying to go to. Now, if you're someone that has said that and someone that does that, no offense, that's just my personal take on the situation. So that was the first question I answered. The second one, well, technically this was the second one I answered, but it was fresh on my screen. The first one I actually answered, I always have a hard time finding where it was, so let me go back a screen. Okay, here we go. The next one is from someone named Marin or Marin. Excuse my pronunciation if I'm saying it wrong. And she said, how do you set high expectations for students and continue to maintain those expectations when they push back? So I said, the gist is, from my experience both with academics and classroom management, if that's what she's referring to, consistency is key. Like, just being consistent with what you say you're going to do and actually doing it, or what you expect them to do and actually requiring it, goes a long way. So for my class, in terms of behavior, I always tell them, I think I've mentioned this in a previous vlog, that we are civilized people in this classroom. We are civilized children, civilized adults. And so when we line up, we talk about, you know, what does it look like to be civilized standing in line, and we're gonna conduct ourselves in this way, and just being super consistent about that. So my class will tell you, if we line up, because one of our school rules is that they should not be talking in the hallways, for example. So once they cross the threshold of the door, like, their voice is just off. If we line up and they're outside and they're talking and yippee happy, then we will come right back inside, sit down, we'll try it again. If we go outside and they're not talking when we first get outside, and we get all the way down to the cafeteria and there's just talking that starts, we will turn all the way around and come back and try again. And sometimes, believe me, I don't want to turn around and come all the way back. I want to go to lunch. I'm hungry. My feet hurt. I don't want to walk. But I need them to know, as I always say, Miss Robinson says what she means and she means what she says. And once they get to that point where they realize, like, you really are going to be consistent, the amount of times that you have to do that, where you have to come back, sit back down, or redo, starts to minimize or diminish. And I've noticed that kids take pride in that, just using the fancy word civilized and all of that. They really take pride in getting compliments when people recognize what they're doing, or, you know, they really start to feel good about themselves when they realize, oh, we're standing in a nice quiet line, or we're behaving ourselves really well. And then they look at maybe another class across the way that's not quite doing that, then they just feel proud of that. So in terms of management, that's what I do. I'm just extremely consistent, almost to like an illness. In terms of academics, I just let it be known. Like, I put it out there to the kids and the parents. Sure, call me strict, whatever you want to call it structure, whatever you want to call it, but I do set high expectations, and there's a certain amount of like rigor that I expect in my classroom, and I'm aware of that. I tell them I'm proud of that. I tell them they should expect nothing but that. I tell them I will never change that. I tell them when they leave the classroom and go home, I want them to be just tired, because that means they did a lot of learning. Like I said, that's my goal. My goal is when you leave my class every day that you go home and you're just like, man, I need a nap because I worked so hard. But I also explained that they should expect that from me, that if they ever come to school one day and it's clear that I'm not setting high expectations for themselves and myself as a teacher, then I'm not being respectful to them as a teacher, and I'm not doing my job, and they should not be happy with that. I acknowledge it's fun for a day or two to be in a classroom that's just like a free-for-all, but you get to a point where you really don't like it because you feel like we're not learning and it's chaos and it's disorganized. And I also explained to them that me setting those expectations and holding them to it is my form of showing love for them and caring for them. And I am so genuine when I say, like, I only do it because I genuinely want them to be successful. I genuinely want them to leave my classroom in the 3rd grade right now feeling prepared for the 4th grade. I want them to start the first day of 4th grade feeling like, I got this, I'm ready, no problem. And so I tell them, like, you will never see me, you know, take those expectations down. So yeah, let's just get to work. Like I let them know that I enjoy working hard. It makes me feel good, and I enjoy seeing them work hard and getting the benefits from that. So those were my 2 questions on Teachers Connect today, or this week I should say. It is 8:40. My DoorDash should be here within 30 minutes. I'm gonna eat it, and then I'm gonna have to see how much energy I have after that, excuse me, to see if I can edit the vlog. I hope I can, but I'm gonna try and just give myself some grace. I gotta be better about that. And if I'm too tired and I can't, I just won't, because I know that you guys will understand. So aside from that, I hope that you guys are enjoying Vlogmas so far and what I've been able to share. I would say have a good week or a good weekend, but I'm gonna see you over the weekend. So I guess what I'll say is I will see you tomorrow. I hope you guys had a great day, and I will talk to you